Welcome to Rappahannock Issues. I'm Tom Cohen,
And I'm David Kerr.
and we're going to be looking at topics that are of interest to our community, both regionally and to the state.
Hello, I'm David Kerr, and welcome back to Rappahannock Issues. We're talking baseball, specifically the proposal to build a stadium and bring the franchise from the Hagerstown Suns to the Spotsylvania area. And with me right now is Tom Burns. He is the president of the Rappahannock Baseball Initiative. This is an ongoing effort that's been working to bring baseball to our area. And Tom, are you excited about the prospect of what's happening now?
I'm very excited. I believe that after some hurdles that we were not able to overcome in Fredericksburg, that Spotsylvania has a real chance to make this happen. Spotsylvania has the kind of leadership I think that is necessary to bring this to fruition.
You know, a lot of people don't know that much about the team that you're trying to recruit to come here.
Mm-hmm.
They're the Hagerstown Suns.
That's right.
They're part of the South Atlantic League.
Correct.
And could you tell us a little about them? I mean, who are we getting? What's this baseball team? They're going to become local folks soon.
Sure. The Hagerstown Suns are right now one of the most successful teams in the South Atlantic League. They played in the championship the last couple of years, and they've put forth some of the megastars that play for the Washington Nationals. Most recently and probably most prominently would be Bryce Harper. Folks watched Bryce Harper play in Hagerstown, and then within a heartbeat, he was playing for the Washington Nationals. The team also takes on a lot of the rehab assignments. For example, when Steven Strasburg had a rehab assignment, he went from the Nationals back down to the Hagerstown Suns.
After his Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
And there were more people in Hagerstown in the parking lot around the stadium than there were in the stadium. The stadium in Hagerstown is almost 100 years old. There are a lot of high school stadiums around the country and in Virginia that are much nicer. And unfortunately for that region, the demographics are more shrinking than expanding, and they're saddled with a lot of old stadium, not as many people, and they're further away now than ever from Washington, in part just because that traffic and that flow isn't there like it was a number of years ago. That's one of the primary reasons they would like to relocate. But it is a storied franchise. There's been Hall of Fame members who've played for the Hagerstown Suns, and it's I feel bad for the folks in Hagerstown who will no longer have a team. And I think the league and others would like to see something in Hagerstown regardless. But I'm focused on taking them away from Hagerstown and bringing them to Spotsylvania.
Well, one of the things that when I've talked to people about the team is they worry about whether we'll get the interest and the level of attendance.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of attendance have they had in Hagerstown? Do they think they can match that or do better in Spotsylvania?
Well, they've had poor attendance, one of the lowest in the league. But that doesn't have much to do with who they are as a team.
Mm-hmm.
It has primarily to do with two reasons. One is they're in an antiquated, antique stadium. And number two is for the last couple of years, they've been told that the team is leaving. So you're not going to get a whole lot of fan base for a team that everyone thinks is on the way out. But to answer your question more specifically, if you want to know what kind of attendance they may or may not have, the prudent thing to do and the smart thing to do is to ask professionals and to go out and find out other localities when they've built a new multi-use stadium, what happened. Now keep in mind, we're not talking about building just a baseball stadium in Spotsylvania. We're talking about building a multi-use stadium that'll be available for soccer use, lacrosse, football, rock concerts, graduations, all kinds of events. And the stadium itself will be designed to be family friendly, where there'll be rides for kids, picnic areas, little water splash parks, climbing walls, all kinds of, the stadiums in the South Atlantic League that are newer and throughout minor league baseball. That's the way that they have been constructed, and it's been a phenomenal success across the country. There's not a affiliated team that has not succeeded, and Spotsylvania has the chance to get in one of the most successful leagues within minor league baseball.
That sounds very exciting. I'm curious about a lot of people who might not know about this. What does it mean for the Hagerstown Suns, and I assume they'll keep the same name as the Suns when they come to Fredericksburg?
No, I think what will happen is there'll be some sort of a contest to involve the community to come up with a name that's appropriate for our region and for Spotsylvania County.
Well, now, they'll still be associated with the Washington Nationals if they came to...
That's correct. This is a team that is, all the players are owned by the Washington Nationals. They're all paid by the Washington Nationals.
Oh, that's what it means to be affiliated with the...
Exactly. The other advantage of having an affiliated team is the league will not allow a team to leave or to break a lease if they're affiliated with Major League Baseball. It's a tremendous difference between unaffiliated and affiliated baseball in terms of risk.
There's control of the risk.
The risk is exponentially lower for Spotsylvania than it is for any locality in the United States considering an unaffiliated team.
Well, one thing that there's some opposition to the proposed contract lease agreement, however you want to define that, involves Spotsylvania issuing about $27 million worth of EDA bonds,
correct,
economic development bonds. How do you respond to the folks who raise objections and have concerns about the current contract?
Well, we've had, unfortunately, a lot of misinformation has been spread by some folks that are simply against incentive-based economic development. And I think it's fair for someone to have that position, but when they then go out in public and say, for example, the county's paying for all the maintenance, or there's no revenue sharing, and all of that is simply disproven by the documents that are available for the public to review.
Well, in the case of the stadium, there's a argument about developing an identity, helping develop an identity for the Fredericksburg, Spotsylvania area. We had Mr. Yakubowski, on yesterday, earlier in the program, and he was referring to the economic development aspect of this. What kind of benefits are there to having a team in a growing area like ours?
That's a great question. RBI, before we even met the Suns or knew the ownership, we did a lot of research to find out what happens when a new stadium is built. And using tools such as Google Earth, you can go to localities that have built a stadium, and you can look at aerial shots right when the stadium was built or just prior. And then you can fast forward a couple years and see what happened. So that way you don't have to guess. If there's a critic out there that says, this won't spur economic development, we simply say, let the facts speak for themselves. If you're at home, one thing you might want to do is try that out with Bowie, Maryland. Right before they built the stadium, right near where Route 50 and 301 intersect, there was a car dealership up along the John Hanson Highway. And a decade later, it was booming with growth that was spurred by the stadium. And we know it was by the stadium because the locality actually set up a TIF district, much like is being proposed here. They actually never followed through with the TIF district, though, because the success came so hard and so fast that it became unnecessary.
Tom, I appreciate very much you being on our program today.
Thanks for having me.
And I couldn't resist when you were talking to the Google Maps and the Google Earth, how to work.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
you.